So that covers a lot of the basic editing techniques. And now the question is, for something like this where we've got, a couple of tracks down here, and then we've got most of Pauline's show all on its own track up on top, is this the right level? So it sounds okay. When we listen
Annuals. Well, they are annual, so it means they're going to die.
It doesn't sound bad, but how do we actually know if it's the right level? We got a couple indications. We're setting off a red, the clip indicator. So this track is saying this is too loud for me just on a single track. And then if we go to FX, we can see it's reading -11. So there's a few key numbers. If you're not sure what you're looking for, you can flip back to your podcast manual and you can find this under the Reaper section on, where is it? There we go. For podcasts, the ideal is -16. So I say between -19 and -16 so that you've got a bit of a range. So the way these measurements are working, 0 is the loudest that you can possibly get. So 0 is right here at the very top, and then the numbers get negative as they get quieter. So you want to be somewhere in this kind of range here. So not way up here where it's super loud at 0, but then getting quieter, getting colder, to -16. So right now we're at -11, so we're still, 5 degrees too hot here. So we've got to turn down. So this doesn't exactly correlate, but it correlates closely enough that if I want to say, I want to get to -16 and I'm 5 too loud, I can just turn it down by 5. So I can grab this host track, because this measurement is, like I said, it's not second by second. It's going to be based on the entire length of the show. And since most of the show is just on this one track, is just Pauline talking, if we just adjust this one track's volume, that'll adjust pretty much the whole show's volume. So we're going to take this and we're going to turn it down by 5, because that's what we think. So roughly 5. It doesn't have to be perfect. I got, -5.02, and then we'll hit play again and we'll take another listen.
Die with the first hard frost. It's probably a good idea for you to go and look for some seeds that you could harvest.
So like I said, doesn't always correlate exactly. I did -5. I thought that would be enough. It wasn't. So let's go -6 or -7. Let's see what happens there.
Die with the first hard frost. It's probably a good idea for you to go and look for some seeds that you could harvest to plant.
So like I said, anywhere in there. If you want to get it as close as you can, we probably can goose it up a tiny bit back to, -7 right on her. Yeah, -6.8. And then we'll get a little bit closer, but anywhere in this kind of region is fine.
Die with the first hard frost. It's probably a good idea for you to go and look for some seeds that you could harvest to plant.
Okay, so to get an idea of what it is across your whole show, because like I said, this is just a rough measurement, we're going to do a few different things. We are going to, like I said, take a listen to get a rough level so we can adjust it. Then we're going to zoom out. So I've set up a shortcut that you can hold down Control again on your keyboard if you're on a PC, or Command if you're on a Mac, and then use the scroll wheel on your mouse to zoom in and out. And that's going to zoom into the point that you're clicked on with this green line here. So you can zoom out, zoom in if you need to click over here, zoom in, zoom out, because you're going to probably be doing a lot of zooming in and zooming out. You've also got plus and minus buttons in the bottom right hand corner here for zooming in and zooming out if you need to. But like I said, that's going to be one thing that if you are doing audio editing for any length of time, you will probably want to get used to, because you'll be doing quite a bit of it. So we're going to find a spot once we can see the entire program here. We've got a spot at the beginning. We're going to find a spot in the middle and play it for a few seconds.
Go out and pick some evergreen boughs and stick them in now before the hard freeze up. Leave them hanging. They'll freeze.
And then I'm going to pick a spot at the end and listen for a few seconds.
Good luck wintering over the ones in pots. Some of my friends say yes they can, but I've never managed to do it. I consider them as annual.
So I get a measurement at the beginning that is, around minus 16.5. I get a measurement at the end that's around minus 16.5. There was a little bit in the middle where it seemed like we got a little bit too hot. We got up to minus 15 degrees, LUFS in this case. But I think overall it's probably going to turn out okay. So like I said, that just gives us a rough idea because it will be measuring every part of this whole thing. So we're going to click that back to the beginning, and then the next thing you can do is we're going to leave this up on your screen because we still want to be able to view this if possible. So we're going to leave that up there, and we're going to go File, and we're going to go to Render. So click Render, and then this will ask you where you want to save it to, so you can browse to wherever you want to save it. If you have a podcast folder, if you want to save it to your downloads folder, that's probably not a great idea. It's probably a good idea to set up a podcast folder, but wherever you know that it's going to be, wherever you're going to be able to find it later, you can browse to that location. This is going to be the name that you give it. So this is going to be Your Show, episode 1 or 12, whatever it is. And then you can ignore everything down here until we get to Format, where you're going to click this and you're going to set it to MP3. And it'll say Encoder by Lame Project. Don't worry about that. MP3. So you click MP3, and that's it. Then you can click Render. So we click Render, and it's going to render. It's going to show you, how loud your episode is overall, and then you can actually see it taking the full measurement of your entire show. So if we were worried that it might get too loud, it might push this average measurement above minus 16, it's okay. We did a check. It looks good. So at this point, you now have your show finished, and you are ready to upload.